titled Gun Violence. I am Derrick Peyton, the masses voice, who has always been at your service. The topic of this video has to do with gun violence, which is sending the innocent ones to their early graves. I call it innocent one because the gun itself had its own demonic power over humanity. But if you could allow me to smart you up by leading the way as usual, then I will definitely remain at your full service throughout this very video. Obviously, you and I know that there are so many countries around the world today that are struggling to cope with gun violence. So, there are so many secrets concerning gun I, Derrick Peyton, have to review in this very video. Because that issue needs to be addressed in order to mitigate or reduce the problem of gun violence that is quite alarming in many countries as I speak. Let us not be blinded by our own greed and selfishness. Yes, a few set of people in power make the law that govern the nation. But with that same law they have made, is certainly made for their own political interest. Because they are officially using the law to punish the law enforcement officers who are sworn to uphold the law, protect, and serve his own people, are being caught in the middle, and as well as the innocent citizen that voted into the office in the first place. Every law enforcement officer accepts the law that you have made doesn't mean that he likes it. You wholeheartedly say that your system of government is quite excellent. But if I may ask you how excellent it is when gun can easily be obtained on the street by ordinary civilians, especially the innocent women and children. Let's not forget that when a civilian is with a gun, he doesn't control the gun, but instead the gun controls him. Gun is a perfect recipe for disaster. And when a civilian is with it, he doesn't think about the consequences ahead of the horrific action because a mistake is made without the knowledge of consequences. But afterward, he will later realize that it is something he shouldn't have done in the first place. Because, as I know, always be the final conclusion of any wrongdoing. Yes, your gun will definitely leave you alone to face the consequences of your wrong deed afterward. In addition to the fact that a civilian with a gun does not think rationally because gun in your hands make you feel you are on top of the world. It makes you feel unshakable, untouchable, and undefeated. Gun also make you feel that you are above the law. Gun frequently wants itself to be tested. Holding a gun by a civilian is like having absolute power over life and death. It's like a drug while holding a gun because it controls all your emotional being and body system because it makes you feel powerful, of which in reality it does not. Gun make you feel that you have the right to take someone's life. It also make you civilians always go angry because gun always seeking for revenge. Whenever a civilian with a gun is hungry and is lack of money, what did you expect? He must go for robbery because a hungry person is an angry person. Gun also pushes a civilian to look for trouble because gun wants to be respected and it makes you do the unthinkable things. All that I've mentioned above is what the officers have trained against so as to subdue them. Meanwhile, as for the law enforcement officer who has been trapped in the middle between the politicians and the civilians, please also permit me to smart you up for a little bit because the politicians are using you specifically for their own political gain. Yes, we all know how hard it is before you could become a police officer. And you must have been trained so hard to never underestimate the gun, demonic spirit that the gun have. Yes, a police officer got the experience and the training to overcome the gun that has its own natural violence because guns are violence in nature. But in the case of a civilian who is lacking of hard training, and it is unlawful for him to bear firearms because a civilian holding a gun has no respect for the law. And if you must hold a gun as a civilian, then you must also train hard your mind to be patient and calm in any situation. And if not, believe me, in the end, the gun will definitely leave you to pay a heavy price, either with your life or with your freedom. And that was why Mrs. Waleta Wallace, Notorious B.I.G.'s mom, once narrated that they don't only live by no gun, but they always die by it. Here I repeat that a civilian holding a gun is on that side of the wrong law because the main difference between the civilians and the officer is that gun in question. So please, parents, try so hard to make sure that your kids do not have access to your own gun so that they could have a better future. And as for you, the lawmakers, you people should think rationally about who has the constitutional right to bear firearms so that you should not be putting the life of the law enforcement officer in danger because they are the one risking their own life so that the average civilians can live in peace and harmony. And don't forget that it is not so easy to make the best out of any situation. Background check or a mentally disturbed person or no background check on individual on medical valuation, it doesn't matter because it is natural that anyone with a gun can snap at any given time. So by giving the civilians that constitutional right to bear firearms, there you have to make things complicated for the law enforcement officer to handle. That is it. And thanks for watching. But please, I beg of you to have this video shared, like and subscribe. And also for you to stay connected with me. So kindly smash the notification bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a new videos. Until next time, thanks and stay blessed. Says Derrick Peyton, the masses voice. One love, my dear noble ladies and gentlemen.